What's up, everybody? This is your man, Inspirational Rob, and welcome to Rob Talk. Well, we are picking up part two of an episode we started last week. It was part one of what I call Diddy or Didn't He. It's a play on Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs, and the whole thing that's going on with the trial of Diddy and Cassie Ventura and all that. We're talking about, did he do it or didn't he? So did he or didn't he? Okay, but this is part two. We're gonna get knee deep into some things we left off on the last episode, talking about why women stay in abusive relationships and do women play a part in the abuse that they endure in these relationships? Do they play a part, if any? And if they do, what can we do to help them to recover and to remove themselves from these situations? But before we get into that, I want to remind you, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share with someone what we're doing here. Let them know that Inspirational Rob has this new YouTube channel called Rob Talk. And you want to let them know that we're on, and let them know that it is it's a new channel and we're excited about it, and we want them to be a part of it as well. So like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, so we're gonna get right into this part two of Diddy or Didn't He. Diddy Combs, as we talked about that, he's in a heap of trouble, and they said it's not looking good for him. The last I checked, as far as staying out of jail, looks like he's in a heap of trouble. But we don't know. He's being accused of a whole lot of things, as we talked about on part one of this. Some of the stuff that they said he did, maybe he did and maybe he didn't. But we know what we saw. We know what we did see on the video, where in the hotel where he pulled Cassie, I think he by her hair or whatever, and he drug her at the hotel in the hallway and by their room, and he threw her on the floor and he stomped on her, he kicked her, and he just abused her. It was horrible. We saw all that, right? We saw all that, and it was the worst thing ever. Okay, but we asked the question: did he do all this other stuff that they said he did? We're not sure. I don't think we have a lot of evidence about some of the stuff that he had. I mean, we hear a lot of people are corroborating the story there's witnesses that are corroborating the story, but we don't have any. We don't have a whole lot of video evidence or audio evidence of him abusing these women in the way that they said he did. Now, like I said before, I'm a bystander. I don't know, just like you don't know, like we don't know. My opinion is that he probably did most of all this stuff that they're saying he did, but we don't know. The thing that I want to get at, though, is that Cassie endured a lot of stuff. I mean, she met him when she was 19, and he signed her to, I think, like a 10-year record deal, and it seems like he had a lot of control over that young woman. She was 19, I believe, and he was 37, I believe, and a whole lot older than her. And she was new to the industry. I think she's doing some modeling and that sort of thing. She's just starting a music career and that. But the thing is that I find so troubling is that she was in this relationship for so long. And the question, and this is what I believe the defense is going to say and is saying: why would you stay in a relationship for so long if it was so bad? If he was so abusive? I think it was 10 years or something like that, or longer, that they were in this relationship off and on. And why? And some of the stuff that went on at these so-called freak offs, it was just mind blowing. It's just crazy. I mean, and people have corroborated on the stand, and even um, Cassie even uh, corroborated or agreed that some of this stuff went on. Some of this stuff, and I mean, it's some freaky stuff. Okay, uh, uh, but if Diddy was a freak, does that make him a monster? Does that make him diabolical? Does that make him the crazy maniac that they're making him out to be on the stand in court? Just because you're a freak, does that make you crazy? These are the questions that we're asking. And if he's such a freak, and if he's so crazy, why would you stay with someone that long? Now, me having a background in psychology, and that I know, and in counseling and stuff like that, I know the clinical answers for some of this stuff. I do. I really do. But these are the questions that people are asking. And these are not easy answers. I could give you a clinical answer to this, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to the average person or to the average mind. Okay? So I asked Cassie, and I asked these other people who were in these relationships with him, why would you stay with the monster? I mean, they were saying some of the stuff that he was doing. I mean, it's some of the stuff that he was forcing her to do. It's just like, what? And she did it. And then some of this stuff she admitted doing when he wasn't there. So they want to accuse him of sex trafficking. As I was trying to say earlier in part one, and I couldn't come up with the terminology or the I couldn't come up with the sex trafficking thing that he was being tried for. Sex trafficking is one of the things that he's being tried for. But if he, but somebody, they were telling some attorneys that I know, friends of mine, and some attorneys that I know. I even heard some pundits talking about this. They were saying it might be harder than you think to convict him for things like sex trafficking. It's not as easy as people would think. So, and with his money and power, this guy could get off. He could get away with it. I mean, that would be horrible if he actually did the stuff that they said he did. It would be horrible if he were to get off. But I digress here. But the point that I was trying to get to was this: is that if he's such a monster, how, why would you stay? Now I'm playing the what they call the devil's advocate here. I'm playing the advocate here when I ask the question. Again, I could give you a clinical answer to that. I can give you an answer why that is. But I want you to ponder this, and I want you to think about that. Like, comment, and subscribe. I want you to, why don't you just engage a little bit? Tell me what you think in the comments. I know you're thinking about this. I know you have something to say. Go ahead. You're not going to hurt my feelings. If you disagree, it's okay. We're family. This is what this is about. But I mean, come on, you stayed with this man for all of this time. What you threw the freak off parties. When Diddy was sick and couldn't make the parties, you kept the parties going. You were engaging in these freak offs. And then when you split, you broke up, you went with you were doing some of this stuff with these other guys, allegedly. With some of these other people. You were still doing some of these same sex acts that you were doing with Diddy, now with the other people without Diddy. And then you went back to Diddy, and then you were doing some of the same things again, allegedly. But we do know you got back with him. That's not allegedly, that is the fact. You got back with him. You admitted that you got back with him time after time after time. But you say he's a monster. Now you're saying that he's a monster. Is he? Or are these lies? Is this a money grab? Is this someone trying to get back at someone? Again, I'm playing the advocate here, what they call the devil's advocate. I'm just asking questions. So let me give you let me give you let me give you some clinical reasons of why people do some things. Why women sometimes stay in relationships, in abusive relationships, like Cassie did, or keep going back to guys who were abusive, like Cassie supposedly did or allegedly did. Well, we know she kept going back, but we don't. Let's look here. So I looked this up, and Psychology Today says this, and this is we all in psychology. There's a thing called Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm, you've heard of it, I'm sure. Stockholm syndrome. And it says Stockholm syndrome has six distinct symptoms. This is Stockholm syndrome is named after a psychiatrist, and it said it has six distinct symptoms. It has, well, this psychiatrist came up with this name called Stockholm syndrome. He's a psychiatrist. I think he was a German psychiatrist, I believe. But anyways, so and I think the story is that these bank robbers held these six people hostage. For I think it was for I think it was days. Might have been 6 days or something like that. A bunch of people, and these people refused. They refused to to they started sympathizing with the guy after the guys got caught and they were going to court, and they even sympathized with them. They even tried to excuse them, or they went to bat for these guys. In Stockholm, and that's where they came up with the Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm syndrome, and they said it has six. He said it has six distinct symptoms, rather symptoms. Six. Say that 6 times really fast. It has 6 distinct symptoms. Number 1, feeling affection for and developing an emotional detachment to the abuser. 2, acting out, distrusting, or feeling negative toward others, trying to help them leave the abuser. Number three, showing sympathy for or voluntarily helping protecting the abuser. Number four, rationalizing the abuse. Number five, perceiving basic decency as exceptional kindness. Number six, feeling powerless to leave. That's Stockholm syndrome. And a lot of these women suffer from what they call Stockholm syndrome. And where their abuser manipulates them so till they just manipulates them so till they don't even have no control over their own thinking, or it's like involuntary. They just automatically do what the abuser wants them to do. And usually it's amazing because the abuser has this ability to manipulate. Most of these people are narcissistic. It's all about them. And they know how to play the victim while they manipulate. And I love this one of the symptoms right here. And I see this in a lot of women who are abused. This is one of the ones that I just go, wow. Showing sympathy for or voluntarily helping or protecting the abuser. I can see that with Ventura, with Cassie. I believe there were times, and I believe in the trial, it kind of came out a little bit. People were talking about this. She was there protecting him. When people were talking against him and about him, and it took a lot of courage for her to sit on that, oh man, on that witness stand and get examined and cross-examined by the defense. I mean, whew. I'm not sure if I don't watch the trial, but I'm not sure if she got cross-examined or not. I don't know if they actually cross-examined her, but just to sit on there on witness stand and give her testimony is just an amazing thing. It took some courage to even be in court. And so she had to shed some of these symptoms, this Stockholm syndrome symptoms. Showing sympathy, voluntarily helping, protecting the abuser. I believe she was protecting him many years. She knew a lot of things about him that was negative, and she knew he was abusive, but I believe there were plenty and many days she was out there protecting Sean Diddy Combs. That's Stockholm syndrome. A lot of women are like that. You go out there, you go, man, how in the world could she be with that guy? He's this, that, and other. It's more common than you would think. It's so common. Women stay with men for all kinds of reasons. A lot of times they stay with them because it's a sense of protection, a sense of security. I got a place to stay. My children have some place to stay. I have food. He buys me clothes. That's a sense of security. It's false security. It's security to some degree, but I mean, security is so much more than a house to live in or food to eat. Security is much more than that. While he's providing it on that level, but the emotional level is just in shambles. It's lacking. But many women, they say, I'll take that. There's so many reasons why women stay in these positions. It's Stockholm syndrome. Many women stay with in these relationships because it's about the children. I can't leave because what if my child needs a daddy in the home? What are my boys going to do without a man in the home? What are people going to say if I don't have a man around? And here's one of the symptoms here: feeling powerless to leave. Feeling powerless to leave. You just feel like you can't leave. I have no power to do it. And you would think that after all of this stuff that someone was doing to you, all of this abuse going, you would think that a person would go, man, I'm out of here. You would think it would be easy, but it's not. I have dealt with this, oh, more often than I even uh, care to admit. Women are just feeling powerless. Well, could you go stay with the mother? You got a mother? You could stay with your mom? Yeah, but what? I just don't. Could you stay with an aunt? An uncle? But what? But what am I gonna? And it's always a but. It's always a but. It's the feeling of being, of being powerless to leave. I don't have my power, and you would think you got it. Just up and leave. It's not a big deal. You're getting your brains beat out. You're being demeaned, and you're being what? And I have another question for you ladies out there and men. Some of the stuff that Diddy was making her do, allegedly, and a lot of the stuff that she was agreeing to do, which she's admitted. When is it okay? When is the line being crossed? When it goes from consensual sex to all outright disrespect and abuse and demeaning. I mean, when is the line crossed? Because it could be consensual that you do some of the stuff that he was making her do, or they were even doing, or she was allowing him to do. She says, it's okay. It was consensual. When is the line being crossed? The line from love and affectionate, high, erotic sex, which is okay in a relationship, to just outright abuse and disrespect, where you are demeaning, where you're being demeaned and you're being abused. Where does it go from eroticism to just abuse? Somebody say, I know somebody's saying, "Oh man, you out of touch. You don't, man. You ain't been around." No, I'm asking the question. When does it go from eroticism and consensual love and respect to downright abuse and disrespect? Because I don't think certain acts. I don't think certain acts are 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 are, are acts of er- erotic love. See, when you're in love with somebody and you really care about somebody, you know, eroticism should be a loving thing too. There should be some eroticism, but there should be a caringness, a tenderness, and even in rough sex, what one calls rough, another one might call tender. So, but where's the line? When does the line get crossed? Where it goes from love and respect to abuse? Because some of the stuff that they said they were doing, that he made her do, and she allowed him to do, I think that most people, any decent human being would say it's beyond the pale. It's over the top. The average person, okay, you might be a freak, okay? But I'm not talking, but you're not the average person, okay? You're just a freak, okay? Okay, so one thing to one is the same thing to something else to another. One thing to one is the same thing something else to somebody else. Okay, so we're playing with words. I mean, it's a relative term. What tenderness is, what respect is, what what is eroticism is. It's a relative term. And you have to ask that question. And you all have to have that discussion. When are we crossing the line? With your lover, with your woman, with that woman. You have to know when you're crossing the line, when you're going to just something just diabolical. That's erotic. That's freaky. But now we're delving into something that's diabolical now. I don't mind being freaky, but that's diabolical. Does this make any sense to anybody? Give a thumbs up if you agree. Thumbs down if you disagree. Look, if you a freak, then that's cool. That's fine. I'm just saying you are not the average person. I'm talking about to the masses, to the average person. The average person would say some of the stuff that allegedly was done to Cassie by Sean Combs. What most people, the average person would say that's outside of that's beyond the pale. That's beyond the borders. That's disrespectful. Or am I just alone in this? Come on, somebody need to help me out. Help me out. Tell me I'm not by myself with this. Oh man. Man, maybe we have to have a part 3. Maybe we'll have a part 3. I don't know. Listen here. Listen. Ladies, get some help. If you're being abused, get some help. You can DM me, ladies. You can DM me. I'll get you some help. If I can't personally help you, I'll find someone that can help you. If you don't have the money, we'll try to find someone that can do it for you pro bono. We can get you some help so you don't have to be out there being abused and being misused by someone. And a lack of funds should not keep you from getting help. We'll make it happen. Okay? Okay? But you got to be strong enough to say, okay, I need help. It starts with saying I need help. Don't suffer not one more day being abused. And you're sitting around watching the Diddy trial and you're feeling, oh man, and it's triggering something in you. But it should trigger you to stand up for yourself. Quit watching the trial and start doing something for yourself. You know that sister of yours that's dealing with something? Talk to her. Tell her to get out of that situation. That niece, I'm talking to men too. Help them get out of that situation. Talk to someone and say, listen, we'll get you out of that situation. You know something shady's going on and you know it and you're being quiet and that ain't cool. Because listen here. If you aren't doing anything about a situation and you know somebody's being abused and you know somebody's going through some stuff and you know somebody might be being trafficked or whatever else and you know what's going on, you're complicit if you're not doing anything. So let's just do something together. We gotta make some changes, man. I mean, it's unfortunate what happened with Diddy and Cassie, but you know what? Do you know what the good? No, there's some good can come out of this whole thing, and that we shed some light on domestic abuse, sexual assault, uh, and trafficking. We got to treat each other better. We got to do better, and we can help each other. Let's start one person at a time, one at a time, one at a time. Start with yourself. Men, we can do better. We can do better, man. Let's be better lovers. Let's be better fathers. Let's be better husbands. We can do better. Well, I'm done. I'll see you next week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. This is Inspirational Rob, and you've been watching Rob Talk. We'll see you again soon. You know what to do.